If not, I think I can do it. Are we live?
We're live, brother.
Okay, all right. First of all, I don't know what happened with the intro. I have no control of what's going on. I'm recording off my phone today. So, yes, my name is Nikki Smokes. Yes, you were listening to The Smoke Show. And yes, I am still joined by my co-host, Bobby. We're live, right? Like, we're 100% live. Like,
We're
you see the
live.
thing going.
It all looked normal on my side.
All right, that's fine. I'm recording on the phone. It doesn't even say that we're live. Anyway, Spectrum Wi-Fi. If I ever walk by one of your trucks, I promise I will piss on it. I get one rainstorm, and now I don't have Wi-Fi till Saturday. This isn't 1922, bro. This is not 1964. This is not 1980. This is not 2000. I need Wi-Fi, bro. And if it goes down during a hurricane, fine. I'm fine with it. But get that shit up the next day. I'm not sitting here waiting for 3 days. I got a show today. I got a show tomorrow. I got a show on Friday. I got a fantasy draft tomorrow. Like, what do you want from me? I can't just use this bum-ass phone. And then I buy this mic, a DJI mic, so I could go do interviews and shit like that at the Dolphins tailgates. And I can't use a headset while I'm talking into the microphone. So $330 for no reason. Thanks. I'm just in dysfunction right now. I'm a complete mess. So I apologize for the inconvenience. I hope I sound somewhat decent, but I know who I am doing better than today, and that is Lynn Bowden. I might have technical difficulties, but at least I got this show. I might not be getting paid for it, really. I mean, I did get a little bit. I got a little song. But Lynn Bowden ain't going to be getting paid either. It's going to be the same. If you need a job, you call me, Lynn. I'll come over. I'll take care of you. No, I'm just playing. But Bobby, what's going on, brother?
Nothing, dude. I'm jacked up. I just watched some soccer. Now it's football time. We're fucking that much closer to the season. We just had roster cut downs. I'm doing well, man. It's a little better than you, it sounds like, with all those technical difficulties. That's brutal. But, hey, we're going to get through it. It'll be all right.
Recording on my damn phone. Damn shame. Jay, if I know how to – I can't send you the link on my phone. So I'm going to try to have Bobby, because Bobby's doing all the backstage work today. Yeah, copy, paste the link. You could DM it to him on Twitter or just put it in the chat. It doesn't really matter. If you want to hop on, Jay, obviously we want you on. All right, let's just get right into it. Why does Chris Greer make Skylar Thompson sound like our franchise quarterback? If I was on the computer, I'd play the clip for the people, but I don't have Wi-Fi because Spectrum's ass. But all I'm saying is when our GM is asked, hey, was it a no-brainer for Skylar Thompson? And our GM looks right at our head coach, and they laugh simultaneously and both say, yes. I mean, does that not sound like the guy that they're most confident in? I mean, they're asking him about Tua. They're deflecting the question. Now, this is not my personal opinion. I think Tua, as of right now, is better than Skylar Thompson. I don't know if Chris Greer feels the same. I don't. I heard more confidence in Chris Greer's tone when asked about Skylar Thompson in 10 seconds. Play the clip, Bobby, in 10 seconds than I ever heard him speak about Tua.
Bro, I mean, I'm going to find the clip so I can pull it up. But let's not be crazy here, dude. He's not more confident. He doesn't like him more. This is nothing. All this is a kid was drafted in the 7th round. He exceeded everyone's expectations. He balled the hell out. I'm taking nothing away from Skylar Thompson. Great for Skylar Thompson. But they said no-brainer to make the roster. Of course he was a no-brainer to make the roster. When you pick someone in the 7th round and they have promise and talent and they play the quarterback position or any position for that matter, you'd be an idiot to cut him. And I think they said that. We're not in the business of being stupid. So they kept the 7th-round player that shows promise. I love it. Good for Skylar. Good for the Miami Dolphins. But it's going to create craziness in the fans because Tua's going to throw an interception and people are going to think Skylar could come in and do better, which is crazy to think about. I just got to set that out there now.
How could you say we're not in the business of being stupid and we drafted Noah Igbo trash in the 1st round and we took Tua over Herbert? I think that's being in the business for stupid. I know McDaniel wasn't there yet, but thus far, and AJ, I think that's pretty stupid. But fairness, in fairness, they did draft Jalen Waddle, they did draft Jalen Phillips, and they did draft Javon Holland. So maybe the culture is starting to change and we're tired of doing stupid business. So that's fine. I understand that. However, with Skylar Thompson, I mean, this front office, Chris Grier, because I don't know if you know, but the job of the GM is to facilitate trades, upgrade the roster, do all the dirty work, right? So what has Chris Grier done since drafting Tua? Well, I'm going to go out there and we're going to get Chan Gailey. He's going to call an offense tailored for Ryan Fitzpatrick. Okay. And then what are we going to do? We're going to tamper with Tom Brady. Okay. And then what are we going to do? Oh, let's go ahead and trade for Deshaun Watson. So I've never really heard or seen through Chris Grier's actions his support with Tua. All I'm saying is in his 10 seconds when asked about Skylar Thompson, he's looking over at his head coach and laughing like he's got a secret weapon in his back pocket. And correct me if I'm wrong, Jay or Bobby, but when we were looking to trade for Deshaun Watson, we didn't get any teams calling about Tua. Chris Grier's already saying multiple GMs are calling us and telling us we would be stupid to let this man go.
Bro, you're comparing apples to oranges. I'm going to put this comment up because I saw it from Cap for Life. I'm on your side, Cap for Life. Like, this is the make it or break it year for Tua. This doesn't change anything for me. But when he throws an interception in like a week 3 game, I'm not going to sit here and say Skylar could do better. Why don't we bench him? Why don't we put Skylar? Dolphins go on a 3-game losing. No, hold on. Because he is a 7th-round pick that has never played an NFL game against NFL starters. He had a great camp, a great preseason. If you think someone like that you can just plug in and all of a sudden the offense is going to be great, he's going to be doing the same thing against these all-pro players he'd be going up against, you're crazy. And that's why people just need to calm the expectations down. With the Dolphins fan base, it's never just a nice, normal, like Skylar made the roster, good for him. Every take has to be on crack cocaine. And it has to be, oh my God, we're keeping Skylar. He's the starter week 1. Trade Tua, cut Teddy. Why even have another quarterback on the roster when you have Skylar Thompson? That's what Dolphins fans do, and it's too much for me, man. Temper it down. It's going to be okay.
That's not their fault, bro. It's not our fault. It's not our fault. Because if Tua went out there and had 38 touchdowns and 10 interceptions and won Rookie of the Year, no one would give a fuck about what Skylar Thompson is doing. And that doesn't change the fact that I don't think Tua's going to be good this year. But I'm poking the bear. I'm playing devil's advocate. And you want to just sit here and act like these fans come up with these crack cocaine takes because they have nothing better to do. All they've seen is 16 touchdowns and 10 interceptions. So when they see a 7th-round pick, what are they thinking? Maybe we have our savior. Maybe we missed on the 5th overall pick and went 0 for 3 in 2020. But then maybe we went 3 for 3 in 2021. And maybe we found the steal of the draft in the 7th fucking round in 2022.
That could be the case, but dude, if this is all based on the way their tone was in a press conference, I think you're wilding, to be honest with you. I think you're wilding. I know you're playing devil's advocate just for the show, just because I do think you believe in Tua, but dude, there's no shot that Skylar Thompson comes in and is better than Tua, at least right now. I think we all think maybe down the road in the future, if he's like our backup, like we said, on a perfect contract, maybe in the future, but dude, right now, that is a crazy statement to make. I think Tua is far and away better than Teddy, and I think Tua is far and away better than Skylar Thompson as well.
What take is crazy?
That Skylar is going to come in and take over.
Nick Longley is not saying that Skylar Thompson is going to be quarterback 1 right now. My take is that I think Chris Grier, not McDaniel, because I know McDaniel's like, most accurate quarterback of all time, next Drew Brees. I'm talking about Chris Greer so far has shown more confidence in Skylar Thompson than he ever has in Tua.
Bro, he's probably proud of himself.
I think the evidence is there.
Yeah, I bet Bobby's right.
He's probably proud of himself. He said, yo, look at this 7th round quarterback I just pulled out of my fucking ass that we thought we were just going to bring to camp and then cut. Oh, shit, this guy's actually pretty good. No doubt we're going to keep him because the team's calling to make a trade. We're saying, hey, guys, we'll give you a 7th round or a 6th round next year. Or maybe we'll give you a 5th, but you have to give us Skylar and a 7th. Like, they're not offering first-round picks because teams are like, oh, my God, Skylar Thompson could be on the market. We could find our new franchise quarterback right now. Like, teams aren't doing that. And could Skylar be that guy someday? Sure, maybe he could. And I'd love to see him be successful and then be our Tom Brady. But it's just like too quick to just jump ships and jump to that. I know that everyone's impatient with the quarterback, and I am the same way. I want nothing more than a great elite quarterback that's going to lead us to playoff wins and Super Bowls and everything like that. But we can't just jump when we see something like Skylar. I love Skylar. I'm so happy he made the team. But I know for a fact that Tua provides us the best chance to win games right now. And I don't think it's particularly close, in my opinion.
Also, like
I think that's a fair statement. I think that's very fair. And I agree. I think Tua is definitely quarterback one. I think as of right now, he has earned the right to go out there and be our starting quarterback. I am not denying that whatsoever. I'm just saying that Chris Greer, his actions of wanting to trade for Deshaun Watson, tampering for Tom Brady, all that does not show me that he supports Tua. That's all I'm saying. Now, however, I think Skylar has done enough and Tua has not done enough. So if Tua does go out there the first 4 games and say the Dolphins start 1-3, there will be people chanting for Skylar Thompson to take reps at quarterback 1.
That's why I'm saying we got a problem on our hands. Because all we're doing is forcing Tua out more, man. Let him feel love. Let him feel like he's QB1. Don't let him wake up every day and be like...
He's been feeling love.
This offseason, the last 2 years, he was in the dubs.
This is the first time. And now all of a sudden...
Tua really don't get no love, unfortunately.
All of a sudden,
this is the first year, so we got to let it ride. We got to let it go. We got to let him... Like, listen, after this year, if you want to have these takes, sure. But this is the first year where Tua has the supporting cast around him, from the coach, from the players around him, and from the fans. So I think it's time to let him, let's let him have a year. We're not going to let him have a year where there's no quarterback controversy. Just 1 year. Just 1 year where he can just do his thing and be the quarterback of the Miami Dolphins without thinking, if I throw one bad pass, I'm going to get taken out of the game. Because that's what he felt with. That's what it felt like with Ryan Fitzpatrick. The first half of last year, it was all about Deshaun Watson.
Whoa. That's not fair. That is not fair. We benched Ryan Fitzpatrick for Tua for no reason, by the way. I was very happy when we did put Tua in because I was like, yes, we get to see our rookie. But Tua would get himself benched, and then we'd have to call in Ryan Fitzpatrick to save the day.
Yeah, but also Fitz was dog shit the first 3 weeks, too, when we lost to the Pats and the Seahawks and stuff.
He was.
I'll be honest, he lost us those games.
That's fact. That's fair. That's fair.
We were in a rock and a hard place. I remember I was talking. They were like, we should just put Fitz in, and then once we get to the red zone, then put Tua in, because that's what was like. That's what their strengths were, man. Fitz would drive down the field and throw a boneheaded interception in the red zone for God knows what reason, just throwing it up to DVP because that's how they did that one year when DVP went crazy. Yep. By the way, thank God that's over. I remember in the offseason, they were praising DVP as a Hall of Famer when he went to New England. I was like, what is happening here? And now all of a sudden, he's not that anymore. We'll see. He's going to play 3 games, get hurt, and they're going to be like, what happened? I thought we had wide receiver 1. Man, I'm so excited for week 1 against the Pats. Every day I get more confident that we're going to destroy them by 20 at least. So that's exciting. But
really?
I'll be honest.
Wait, you got more confident after hearing that Byron Jones is on the pup for 4 weeks?
The Byron Jones injury does not concern me for week 1. For week 1,
it doesn't concern
me. Week 2 doesn't concern me that much either. It still does concern me a little bit, but against the Bengals and the Bills, then I'm concerned. I still think we need to make a trade for the cornerback position. But for week 1, dude, we were saying we should beat them by 30. So one starter, and I know it's an important one, maybe the game gets a little bit closer, but we should still wipe their ass, bro.
I agree.
We should be babying them. If Byron Jones causes that much of an issue where the teams become that much closer, then we are not where we think we are as a team. So I think it's important that we still go out and do that. against the Ravens, they have a guy like Mark Andrews. They have a guy in Rashad Bateman who is pretty good. But Devin Duvernay has been a special teams largely. I know he's a guy who would always wanted and talks about in all of his press conferences. He's kind of like Jakeem Grant, where he was like, I want to be a receiver and all that type of stuff. Yeah. Now he's wide receiver too. So I'm not too concerned with the Ravens just because they only have two really big weapons, and one of them is just a sophomore receiver in Rashad Bateman, who I like, by the way, but he's still a sophomore receiver coming in and being wide receiver
Likely,
one.
don't sleep on him. Isaiah
he's
Likely,
decent too.
That boy's a problem. He's
week
a problem.
3 and 4, dude, that cornerback position is going to be rough. Now, it's not going to be Igbenogany again, but Igbenogany got roasted and toasted by Stephon Diggs when he came into that game last year. So I hope it's Keon Crossan. Exactly. So we'll see what happens because Byron Jones is out. I think we should make a trade, to be honest with you. I do think we should make a trade. The free agent options, people are talking about Joe Hayden, which is fine. He's whatever, but that's not a premium option. I'm not in love with the free agency cornerback class right now. I think a trade could be on the horizon, especially just considering how many pieces we have. And smoke, maybe it is Teddy Bridgewater. Maybe a team needs a quarterback that we can seal like a 4th or 3rd corner, right? Because that's better than Igbenogany. I kind of like Keon Crossan's speed, but obviously if we can get a guy who's a little bit better than him, because coming into the offseason, we thought he was going to be a special teams guy. And now now we think he's going to be playing week 1, right? Like we all agree that he's probably the best corner after Nick Needham and Xavier Howard, right? At least at the moment. So I think that it's really important to get another corner. Obviously, we signed that due to our practice squad, who, by the way, flies. He ran like a 4.23 40 yard, like fastest player in the draft. So we'll see how that goes. But he's just a practice squad guy too. So the cornerback position definitely worries me, but I still think we should wipe their ass, bro. The Patriots are nothing to me. I think they might be worse than the Jets, which is saying something.
Wow, Bobby, are you less confident without Byron Jones playing against the Pats?
I mean, do I think it makes us a little worse as a team? Definitely. Now all of a sudden, corner was always a bit of an issue. It was an issue previously, though, for depth, where like if one of our 2 studs go down, we're in trouble. Now one of our studs has gone down. So it is definitely concerning, but like week 1 at the Pats, I'm chilling. I'm not worried about that. Fat Mac doesn't have it. I'm not worried about Fat Mac coming out and throwing for 350 all over the Dolphins. Like I don't see a scenario where that happens. I think that we're going to be pretty run heavy anyways. So is what it is that game. I'm kind of going to echo what Jay said. Although I do think the Bengals game is winnable. I know that they have so many receivers and Joe Burrow in a great offense over there. That game, to me, you could still win. Man, it's the NFL. Injuries happen. They're going to happen again. We're going to be without more starters going forward. So now it's on Coach McDaniels to get the boy McDaniel. There's no S on the end of that. Didn't mean to disrespect you, Coach.
Don't be disrespectful.
But I mean, it's going to happen, man. It's going to happen to every team. It's going to happen all the time. I want to see how McDaniel can overcome some adversity, put some boys in the right spot, and help to scheme it so it's not as much of an issue. Because I'm sure, and believe me, I don't claim to be a football savant guru where I can tell you the plays they can run to kind of try and hide him. But I'm sure that they can figure out some defensive schemes to make it so that whoever's playing that other corner is going to have some help and not going to be just bare exposed all game. Because you could put X by himself on one side of the field. We've seen how that story goes many a times.
Right.
So it's concerning, but it's not the end of the world. It doesn't change my outlook on the season. Nothing like that.
The Bengals game scares me more than it might be scaring you, by the way, because they have 3 wide receivers who are good. So that means 2 of our corners might be in a little bit of a mismatch. Tyler Boyd and T. Higgins are good receivers. Obviously, we expect X to be on Jamar Chase. So just throwing that in there.
Not having Byron for week 1 doesn't concern me as much as it concerns me for against the Bengals and against Buffalo. But I do believe not having Byron makes these first 2 games more important than ever before. Before the season started, I said the Dolphins have to beat the Patriots week 1 or else we suck. That's our ultimate fraud or not test right off the bat. That, and we have to beat Buffalo at least once. But to start this season, we have to beat New England. Have to beat New England, especially without Byron. And I think Byron going down, does it make us a worse football team like Bobby said? Yes, 100%. But does it make us worse, like to the point where the Patriots are a better football team than us? Absolutely not. I don't like it would take 5 starters to go down for me to be like, okay, maybe like 2 or 3, depending on it. Like if Teron Armstead went down and Byron went down. Let me stop talking about that.
Yeah, chill.
Byron's the only one not playing. So I'm still very confident we go out there and we beat the smelly Patriots. But now we have to go out there and beat Baltimore. Because like Jay said, Rashad Bateman, I'm not losing sleep over him. I'm not losing sleep over Devin Singletary. Isaiah Likely, now he's a problem. He's a problem, but that's why I got Javon Holland. That's why I got the best safeties in the NFL. You have to go out there and win that game now. Because I'll tell you what, you can game plan all you want. Josh Allen, what he does to Noah Igbenogany, I'll never say his last name right, and I won't have to after this year.
Yep.
I mean, it's like playing your little brother in one-on-one basketball. Like, the kid has absolutely no shot. He checks the ball up and knows he's going to get absolutely manhandled. It is what it is. It is what it is. He's going to get exposed if he's even on the field. It's ridiculous. And then the Bengals, they got 3 stud wide receivers. Noah has no life at guarding anybody. Anybody. When Noah has to go up against an elite quarterback and elite wide receivers, he has absolutely no life. And we talk about depth, right? Most teams in the NFL, they're not just loaded with corners where if a corner goes down, they're like, oh my God, like we're so straight because we got this all-pro right here. He's just sitting on the bench ready to go. It's just us Dolphin fans know how bad Noah is that we're genuinely petrified to see him starting on the field. Even if we had someone serviceable that has had like past experience, like that's why what's his name? The guy who signed Madison, right?
Oh, Alexander
Madison.
Yeah.
Like
That's
he would have
the
been
running
perfect
back.
for this
McKenzie.
4-game skit. Like McKenzie, my bad. Thank you. McKenzie Alexander. He was on the IR the day after we signed him. But like that is why we went out there and got him. So if Byron couldn't play, like I'm more than comfortable with him as cornerback number 3. Like I would go into those 4 games and I wouldn't be losing as much sleep as I'm going to lose knowing that Noah Igbenogany, dude, that name is crazy, is out there on the field. Like that, it's just what it is. He's just that bad to the point where I genuinely lose sleep knowing he's going to be on the field.
No, I mean, I feel that. I think most Dolphins fans with eyes echo your sentiment. It hasn't been great from the kid. But man, I just can't. It doesn't change much for me. It does, but it doesn't. Like it obviously makes us a little weaker, but it doesn't change my perception or my outlook or my thought that the Dolphins can still go anywhere and beat any team. Because I still believe that the roster is talented enough, and in the NFL, we've seen it time and time again. Anything can fucking happen. So when you build a talented roster, and if we go out and execute, I'm still as high and where I was with the Dolphins going into the season is kind of where I leave it.
All right.
Yep.
I got one more question for both of you guys, and I have to go back to the quarterback talk, and then we could get into all the big boy talk. I'll let Jay put on his Chris Greer hat. I'll let Bobby be McDaniel, and I'll be fucking – who do I want to be today?
Not Frank Smith again, eh? He's off the table.
No, I'm tired of Frank Smith. I'll be Wes Walker today. I'll be the wide receiver coach later. All right, so back to the quarterback. I think it's pretty obvious that Tua Tagovailoa is going to improve this year. Would you agree with that? I think it's safe to say he is going to do better than 16 touchdowns and 10 interceptions. And that's improvement. By law, that is improvement. But how much does Tua need to improve to keep his job? Because mind you, Tua could go out there, and what if he ranks 20th or 16th? What if he's 23 touchdowns, 12 interceptions? Has he improved enough to show that he is the clear-cut franchise quarterback of this team? Because mind you, you're going to have Tua for another year next year. But what if you have this guy, Skylar Thompson, on a 7th-round draft pick contract, and Tua, although he's improved, he hasn't improved to where he's a top 5 pick, or he's not worth $30 to $40 million that you're going to have to pay him on a franchise tag. So my question to you guys is, where is that bar for Tua this year to say, I am that guy, I'm the franchise guy that you took with the 5th overall pick?
See, for me, this is a little bit of a tricky one to answer because I think I've spoke about it on this show before, where I don't think it's fair if you just say, I need him to throw X amount of yards, X amount of touchdowns, and if he does that, I'll consider that he did great this year. For me with Tua, it's more of an efficiency thing, and it's more of a winning football games thing. If you can look at this team and say and watch games and see situations where Tua is making the play that leads to winning the game, and I know we've talked about this before, Smoke, where you're winning because of him instead of kind of in spite of him or him just being on the team. I need to see more games that Tua grabs the game by the balls and goes out and wins that football game. And he doesn't have to put up gaudy 300-yard, 3-touchdown games. Like, it doesn't have to be crazy. I don't need flashy numbers. I don't think you're going to get flashy numbers out of a guy like Tua. But if I can start to see that efficiency and we get to the red zone and we're putting up 6 points pretty frequently, I don't know what the league average is or what the improvement would need to be there. But those are the kind of things I'm looking at in terms of, can Tua take the next step? Are we going to win games because of Tua? Do I want Tua to have the football in his hands down 6 points with 2.5 minutes left on the clock? Like, do I feel confident Tua is going to go win that game? If I can say yes at the end of the year, then I'd love him to be my starting quarterback. But if I say no to that, if I say Tua hasn't really improved, it's kind of been the same with him. We've kind of made our mind up that, like, okay, Tua's not the guy. We're going to have to move on. I'm sure as fucking hell not saying Skylar Thompson's the guy. Let's go into next year with Skylar Thompson. Fuck that. I think that's where I lose people, because, like, fuck that, dude. We're gonna go with a 7th round pick out of Washington State that played a good preseason. Good
Kansas State.
What did I say? Washington. Sorry, Kansas. They were purple. They both were purple.
Put some respect.
But, like, dude, you wouldn't feel comfortable with that. We wouldn't feel comfortable with that. If we had to go to training camp and Skylar Thompson's QB1.
Cleo Lemon play quarterback for this team.
How'd you feel about it?
Dante Culpepper.
How'd you feel about it?
I've seen way worse.
Then have higher expectations. If Tua's not the guy, you go get a guy, man.
The expectations is for this kid if you're not going to give him a shot.
I guess that's a fair point.
He's not going to get a shot while Tua's here. He's not going to get a shot.
It's so short-sighted to think that, like, if Tua doesn't work, at least we got Skylar. Skylar's the answer. Plug him in. He's our new guy, and all of a sudden we're starting a new.
But you don't think he doesn't? You think he doesn't deserve the opportunity if Tua goes out there and stinks it up?
Not to start. He earned the opportunity to compete for a starting job. He can go compete.
That's what I'm saying.
I have no problem with competition. But, like, saying he's the starter, like,
but what about when the Patriots took Drew Bledsoe? They took Drew Bledsoe with the first pick. The guy led the fucking NFL in passing yards, and Tom Brady took his job and won the fucking Super Bowl. Tua had 16 touchdowns and 10 interceptions, and you're telling me that Skylar shouldn't be allowed to compete for his job?
I just said he should compete. He's fair to compete.
Shouldn't have the opportunity to play.
I just don't think that if you went into next season and said Skylar Thompson is our quarterback, that's our plan A, that's our option, that's what we're thinking, you are you're setting yourself up for disaster, my friend. And
you're rebuilding.
I would fucking love if this kid came on. He was somehow Tom Brady.
You're not rebuilding with the team under contract. You're not rebuilding. You're not rebuilding.
No, but if you're starting a 7th round rookie in his second year, you most likely are.
But what if he's a dog? What if he's a dog?
Oh, yeah, we can play the what-if game all day. We're hoping that Tua's going to be good.
What game with Tua's whole career so far?
Yeah, that's why we're saying if he doesn't perform this year, then you can say Skylar can compete, but you still have to bring another guy in. You're going to go in next year with Skylar and Teddy? Because we're fucked then.
No, Teddy's gone. Tua's still going to be here. He's still going to be on contract. You let Tua and Skylar deal it out, or you bring in Lamar Jackson and pay him $40 million.
There you go. So you're saying that you'd be comfortable next year. Tua doesn't do well this year. Everyone's Tua out. It's pretty unanimous across the board.
If Tua doesn't do well this year, we will see Skylar Thompson take reps so they can see what they have in Skylar Thompson before going into the offseason.
Okay, but I'm saying if Tua doesn't do well this year, we don't see Skylar. We don't get to know anything more about Skylar. All we know is what we saw at camp.
Then we are the worst run organization in the world.
But I'm saying
you would out there and stinks it up with this talent and he just stinks it up, and they don't give Skylar reps. We're the worst run organization in the world.
Okay, dude, I'm saying, what if it's mid? I'm saying, what if Skylar doesn't get another opportunity to prove himself? Next year, we deem Tua isn't great. He's mid. He's average. He's never going to be – he's Jared Goff. He's never going to be the reason we win a Super Bowl. We need to go find Matt Stafford. You'd be fine saying, let's go to camp next year. Skylar and Thompson battle it out. I think Skylar's better. Let's win the job. No, brother. I know what you'd be doing. You'd be looking at – Lamar Jackson's planes, where he's traveling to. You'd be looking at all the. You'd be looking at Brady. You'd be on Brady flight tracker. Like, fuck no, bro. If people can say they'd comfortably be cool with Skylar Thompson being Plan A or the guy, or he should start or he should play, like, pump the brakes, calm down.
Also,
what about Dak Prescott?
Also, talking about opportunity, he'll have to earn it. So if he earns it, he'll get the opportunity. If he doesn't, like, he's still a 7th round rookie. Like, he's going to take time to get
4 years
used to the NFL.
You have 4 years on a terrible contract. No, you don't need 4 years. You don't need
I said
4
he's got
years.
4 years. I'm saying
He's
he's
got
got
4 years.
a 4-year
Also-
contract.
Also, every single team passed on this guy for 6 rounds, and we finally picked him up in the 7th round.
Brady.
So obviously he's performed way better than any team thought he would in preseason, but still against 3s and 4s. We have to take everything with a grain of salt, and we'll see what happens. He's balled out, though. He's made the roster, which is crazy. You have 3 quarterbacks on the roster instead of having a guy like Sony Michel or maybe Lynn Bowden, River Craycraft, all these guys. So the fact that he's done that already shows you they do have confidence in him, at least to make the roster, and they don't want to let him go get signed to another team. But to say that we need to get him an opportunity, or if Tua stinks up, we need to get him an opportunity, he'll earn it. He'll have to earn it, which is competition is good. To be honest, it's one of those things where he'll probably be a high-end backup for a lot of his career, which is great. And then maybe we'll see, but we'll have to see it. And there's no shot that if Tua stinks it up that bad that we're putting in Skylar, man, then this whole team needs to be looked at too. And obviously Tua will be let go. But it's crazy.
No, I don't think the whole team needs to be looked at all. There's only one person you'd have to look at if Tua sucks this year.
Yeah, of course. But we know his baseline. He's going to be average.
If you had a top 10,
he's going to be a top 20 quarterback
at team right now. They're winning the Super Bowl. We're Super Bowl favorites.
Yeah, but he's going to be a top 20 quarterback. We've already seen that with bullshit around him. That's a floor. We have a floor with Tua.
Top 10.
No, for sure. That's where we need him to be. And I hope that's not even his ceiling. I hope he can be better than that. But his floor is top 20. Okay. And with the team around him, I think we can all agree with the top 20 quarterback will at least win 9 games, especially with the record ahead of us. So I like the experiment, the situation we're exploring, it just is, to me, it's not realistic. Because that means Tua, he's a young guy, he's going to progress naturally. That means he took a step backwards with the pieces we added behind, around him, with McDaniel.
Just saying.
That is a ludicrous. Hey, if he goes out and does that, I'll be the first one to be like, hey, we got to get rid of him. But
this has come up 3 times now. This has come up 3 times now in the chat that people think that Tua hasn't earned the starting job and he was just given it, and that Skylar should be able to compete.
I don't think it's a crazy take.
Also, yes, rookies. By the way, rookies have to earn it. Yes, that's how the league works.
Hold on, they started Tua against the Rams because fucking Justin Herbert was going to win Rookie of the Year, which he did, and Joe Burrow looked like a dog. And they're like, "What the fuck do we have in Tua? Why else would you play him against the Rams? Why? For fun? First game, let's go out there against the best defense in the league." They put it. He did out. Fitzpatrick laughed when they named Tua the starter. He thought it was a joke. He probably lost the locker room after that.
I think that's the big difference in drafting a guy at number 5 overall versus drafting a guy in the 7th round. That there's pressure to get to it in the game because
that's fine. That's fair.
He's deemed to be the answer.
Do you say he earned that starting slot over?
We must have done something.
I mean, over
we were
Fitz,
trying to win at that point.
I don't see what goes on in practice. I don't get to know that shit. But I see what you mean. I don't know if he earned that job, but that's just what I'm saying is when you pick a guy 5th overall, you have the pressure of you picked a guy 5th overall and he's expected to be your starting quarterback. They wanted to get him in and see what they had right away. A guy like Skylar, it's not the same situation. It's not like a get him in, let's see what we got. It's okay, we got something nice here. Oh, okay, he did great in the preseason. Oh, okay, he made the 53. Let's keep it going. Hopefully he just keeps going up, and next year he's taking reps with the ones. Actually, fuck that. Hopefully Tua is unbelievable, and he's the only answer or option. But I would love Skylar. I'm not hating on Skylar. I feel like I'm coming off as a hater and that I don't like him. I love him, and I would love him to be great.
Dude, the best case is he's pushing Tua. Let's say Tua has an unbelievable year. You have Skylar as your backup. Teams are calling, I'll give you a 2nd-round pick, a 3rd-round pick for Skylar. That's the hope, that this is your duo going into the next few years. That's the hope. No, I'm saying that Tua balls out. You have your certified quarterback 1. Then you have Skylar, who looks to be a quarterback 1 as well. Then you're in the best position ever. You have 2 quarterback 1s. That's where you're vibing out.
Last question.
And competition is always good. Competition is always good, which will help Tua push to be better. But
last question. And this is very simple. I want to hear 2 words from each of you. And we're gonna change segments because this has been fantastic. So, Greer was getting calls for Skylar Thompson, right? What is the highest round draft pick that you think you would have got for Skylar Thompson? Start with Bobby.
6. Unless we're
Jay.
giving something back. If it's straight up 6.
So I'm doing some calculations in my brain and trying to go back to some past. They drafted him there. A 4, maybe. Probably a conditional
Okay,
4th,
4.
maybe a 5th. I'm
I
thinking
wanna
about the.
see-
Okay. Okay.
I want to see what was going on in his head. No, I just love that beautiful J calculation there. It was unbelievable.
Sorry.
So
I was thinking of where.
So Skylar's already outperformed his expectations. He's already more valuable than what we drafted him at. Now, can you guys name one team that would give up a first-round pick for Tua right now inside the top 10? Okay, thank you. Now, Bobby, what would a team give up for Tua Tagovailoa right now? And don't say something you don't really believe in, because you're live on camera.
I would say a 2nd-round draft pick.
I agree.
Smoke, I don't think there's anybody in the world that doesn't think that Tua has been a little less than expected. I mean, we had a whole slogan, tank for Tua, tank for Tua. We thought we were going to get the number 1 pick and draft him.
Why did you want him in the trade? Why did they want to go with Davis Mills?
Davis Mills was also like a good rookie, and they drafted him himself. He was pretty good. He's probably the 2nd best rookie quarterback last year, to be honest with you.
Anyway, that was a good.
The 4th, by the way, the 4th might be a little.
Tua's lost value and Skylar's gained value.
The 4th might be a little high. I would probably say a 5th. The calculation I was doing is the rookie quarterback.
Backtracking now because I got his ass.
A little bit, yeah. No. I was going back and forth on a 4th and a 5th. Because I was thinking about the rookie quarterbacks who were drafted this year and who Skylar's outperformed them. So I'm saying a team would rather take a shot now with hindsight being 2020 in the 4th or 5th to take Skylar over a guy like that they did. So that was the calculation I was doing in my head, was trying to think back to where quarterbacks were drafted, at least in this rookie year. And I was trying to think back to past years where quarterbacks in that range was taken. Like, shit, we just saw Kellen Mond get released. He was a 3rd-round pick by the Vikings. So, value is always up and down. We saw Leatherwood just got released too. So value is always up and down. Teams are bouncing around in terms of value. So there's always things to be calculated. But to me, I was just thinking back to if we went back into the draft right now and a team had a 4th or 5th round pick, they'd probably take Skylar over maybe a quarterback that they did. So like over a guy like Matt Corral or some shit. I don't know. Because Carson Strong dropped out.
Don't talk crazy about Matt Corral. That boy a dog.
I've had enough.
Hey, I was Sam Howell guy. And Malik Willis. Malik Willis is looking good too. But I was just thinking back to where a team would feel comfortable taking a shot, because we know if he got cut based on the fact that 2 teams are calling, someone was going to pick him up and have them be on their 53-man roster. So we just decided to do the same thing. We didn't do anything crazy, and we don't think Chris Grier has some crazy confidence in him just because he kept him on the roster. He just did what a general manager should do. You should not get credit for that, by the way. You're doing what's best for the team. So let's not get past that from Chris Grier thinking he has like the confidence I love seeing from the two from Mike McDaniel and Chris Grier in the press conference is great. You love to see them being like, oh my God, we would never trade him, at least right now. And that's also because they probably weren't getting anything back either. Like if a team offered you a 5th for Skylar right now, you're saying no. And that's what we said would realistically be the highest someone would offer, or a 4th. But no one's saying yes to that because you just want to see what you have. Also, the contract is great. And to be the perceivable backup going forward, like that is worth more than like a late round pick. So honestly, I think we're in a great spot because we have a quarterback who we hope to be good. We have a young stud. Stud might be going a little bit crazy, but we have a young stud who can push our quarterbacks. And we have the bum veteran in Teddy Bridgewater. Don't want to call him a bum. I know he's Miami, he's Miami gold, but I'll be honest, dude, it's not looking great. But we have a good quarterback room this far. We'll have to see what happens this year. If Skylar gets a rep, that was nuts, I'll be honest. That Skylar's going to be getting reps at the end of the year because Tua stunk it up that much. That means we would have to be a 5-win team if Skylar's coming in. So we'll see what happens there. I just don't see that happening myself. I don't see, because of Tua's floor. I just don't see that happening. But we'll get to the next segment. That was very interesting because that is a conversation that I did not think we would be having today.
For the record, I do think Tua should go out there and be the starter. There's no doubt. But I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm not somewhat impressed with Skylar Thompson. All right, let's talk about the 53-man roster. We kept 5 tight ends. We kept 3 quarterbacks. We cut Sony Michel. All in all, Bobby, what did you think of the 53 cuts? Did anything surprise you? Was there anyone that you were upset to see go?
I mean, nothing crazy. Nothing where I looked at my phone and I was like, holy shit, did we really just release this guy? I thought it was pretty straightforward. I mean, there was a couple that we didn't know how the wide receivers would break down. We ended up only keeping 5, letting go of Bowden, Preston, and Craycraft. I thought Craycraft had a decent shot to make the team. I thought Lynn, the writing might have been on the wall, but he did some decent shit in the preseason, some good special teams work. So I was curious to see how that finished out. When I saw we kept 5 tight ends, I was a little surprised to see 5 tight ends. I don't know any team in the NFL that keeps 5. I am assuming that they're trying to make a move there to possibly ship one or do something there. I don't think we start the season with 5. Maybe we do. Jay would know better than me, and he just gave a look. Other than that, man, I mean, crazy. I didn't realize Mackenzie Alexander went on the IR until I saw the official 53. So I think that was the biggest shock to me. I thought we had him still as a depth piece, so I missed that somewhere along the way. But nothing too insane for me. Jay, I would like to hear what you think.
Well, the only thing that really surprised me, and obviously I knew this could happen, but they're really going into like the scheme fits sort of thing when we released Sony Michel. Like obviously he didn't perform as well as the Myles Gaskin and Salvin Ahmed, but I still thought there was a role for him on the team just based on short yardage situations and being a change of pace type back. And that's the only thing that worries me. Obviously you have Alec Ingold who can play that role, but I still think it's interesting that we don't have a real power back on this team. Obviously, I think Chase Edmonds will be our third down back, receiving back. But by the way, that's not the case, and we'll get to that. And that was something I was going to hit too, because it doesn't make sense in this offense. But with that being said, the Sony Michel thing was a little bit kind of surprising. That was probably the most surprising to me, but it wasn't shocking, Bobby. I don't think it was like a shocking decision just because it doesn't fit the scheme. So that was probably the most. Like, obviously, I thought, to be honest with you, the wide receiver room was probably our deepest room out of all the position groups, right? I think we all agree on that too.
Definitely.
So I was surprised we only went with 5 players on that, as you would think, because it's so deep, you'd want to keep more of those players. Maybe, I don't think Lynn Bowden got claimed, so maybe he can come back to the practice squad. That would be lit. Same thing with River Craycraft. I'm surprised. So I had 6 receivers on my prediction, and I thought, okay, it was going to be Bowden or River Craycraft. But when they didn't carry both, that was very interesting. Right. The 5 tight ends, I love to see that. Tyler DeSena, NFL, go follow him on Twitter. I was talking to him about Tanner Connor. We talked about him like a month ago, dude. It was crazy. And he went to practice a couple times. He told me, dude, Tanner Connor's a dog. Like, Mike McDaniel really likes him and all this stuff. And then he made the team. So I was like, shout out to him for calling that out. So I think they do have some confidence in him going forward. He's a converted wide receiver to tight end / fullback / H-back. So that'll be a really interesting.
He's a track star.
Yeah, he's a track star too, so that'll be very, very interesting. He had drop issues in college, but he's like a big guy, so that's why they're kind of trying to convert him. So that'll be very interesting to see. So that's why they kept him on the roster. Ethan Carter they kept for special teams and to be a backup fullback just in case Alec Ingold goes down. And then obviously we have Mike Gesicki, Jeremy Smythe, and Hunter Long. Now, to get to Smoke's point when he was making the face, Mike Gesicki will not be a wide receiver on this team. He won't. There's not a case for that.
That's insane.
Maybe on specific
that
plays.
take makes no sense. That take makes no sense. First of all, he's a starting tight end. He's a starting tight end. He is tight end 1. They didn't keep 5 receivers because Mike Gesicki is wide receiver 6. He's the first tight end on this team. I know he can't block. I know he doesn't fit the scheme. We just franchise tagged the motherfucker. And we franchise tagged him as a tight end, not as a wide receiver. He's the first tight end on this team. He is not wide receiver 6. Talent-wise, yeah, he might be wide receiver 6, but he is the starting tight end on this football team. He's not wide receiver 6. I'm sorry. And in theory, you're like, well, we're going to line him up. You don't ever have 6 wide receivers on the field. That's not a possible scenario. You can't have 6 wideouts on the field at the same time. It's not possible. So he is not wide receiver 6. He is tight end 1. And he will be swapped in and out because of his inability to block.
Exactly. And he's not playing wide receiver on the team. Yes, for specific plays, you can use his catchability. But we are building this team on Yak. I've said it a bunch of times now. He doesn't fit that. He's not a yards after catch guy. He's fast, but he's not a yards after catch guy. To be honest, his decision-making after the catch is questionable. So we'll see on that. When he's going for hurdles, it's crazy.
He wants to just jump everyone.
He just wants to jump over everyone. He's trying to juke. He's a big wide receiver stuck in a tight end's body. However, he's going to have to learn how to block and play tight end. Again, on specific plays in the red zone, stuff like that, Mike McDaniel will definitely keep him open and use him as that big slot receiver. He'd be dumb not to. But most of the time, he will not be wide receiver because he's not – this is why we've been saying he's an in-betweener. If he was a tight end that could block, he'd be the perfect package, but he's not.
Oh man.
So that's why he can't be like a tight end. Obviously, he's going to be our tight end number one because of his ability to catch. That outweighs his ability to block. But as a receiver, he does not fit what we want to do. Or else we would I use this all the time. Then we wouldn't have signed Cedric Wilson. We would have just kept DVP. There would have been no reason to make that change.
Do you think that? So sorry. I was just gonna say, I would think in my brain at least that Gesicki's just gonna see less snaps this year because he can't block. So yes, he's tight end number one in passing plays and stuff like that. But I think he's going to have to see a lot more of the bench, and we're going to have to get our tight ends in there that can actually block just because of how important that is to the scheme. So, yes, he is definitely going to be tight end number one. I think that his role and just on the team is going to be depleted quite a bit, which kind of lowers his value. But I think we kind of knew that coming in. He's on the franchise tag, so it's the last year of that. And then assuming he walks and we actually fill the position with a scheme fit would be my guess, right?
By the way, it was going to be depleted no matter what, because even if you rank it just based on talent, we're throwing to Tyreek and Jalen Waddle first. Last year, Gesicki was the number 2 option. Now we have Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Cedric Wilson. Also, we have Chase Edmonds, who's a good receiving back. Same thing with Raheem Mostert. So he's like not up there in terms of who you want to get the ball to anymore either. And that happens when you get more talented. That's a good problem to have. So no matter what, he was going to get depleted. And I'll be honest, we all thought, and I do think his snaps are going to get depleted too. You're going to get guys like Durham Smythe and Hunter Long in there. So that was just going to happen on its own.
Yeah, true.
And to be honest with you, with that in mind, you're losing value. We probably are just going to let him go, get the comp pick, and go get a tight end next year. Again, if he can learn how to block, dude, we're all on board. We are all on board. I feel like I come off as a Mike Gesicki hater when I was considering buying his jersey because he's a draft pick of ours. He was a talented player. But yeah, like, I just think that's how it goes. And like, if Mike Gesicki can learn how to block, that'd be great. I just don't see it happening. And that's how it goes sometimes. I said it before. That's how it goes sometimes. Not everything was going to be roses and flowers. Once Mike McDaniel came in here, there was going to be a guy who didn't fit the scheme who's going to have to go. That was just going to happen. Unfortunately, it's Mike Gesicki. Do I want it to be that? No, but Mike McDaniel's made it clear that you have to block. And it's clear if you look at the offenses that he's been in, is that you have to block. So we'll see what happens with that. Shit, I wouldn't be opposed to trading him. I know I come off as a Gesicki hater because I'm not opposed to trading him. Would I rather keep him? Yes, than trade him for a 4th-round pick? Sure. I'm not the type of person who just wants to trade him for nothing. But I'm also, I feel like being reasonable when I think if we could trade him for some real value, that might make sense. Because Durham Smythe might be taking a little bit more snaps anyways. So why not? And listen, it's not like, oh, we need Mike Gesicki for his pass catching ability. That is taken care of. We have no issues there. We talked just now about how the wide receiver room was the deepest position group we have. So that's not an issue anymore. Catching the ball is not an issue for this Dolphins team. So I just think that's where I'm at. And yeah.
Hell yeah, we're going to the playoffs, baby. I'm still happy. I'm still good. Sometimes you just got to get some banter with the boys. You got to get a little back and forth, get it going, you know? It happens. Sometimes you get a little heated.
So Sonny Michel doesn't make the team. To be honest with you, I was not surprised at all. I thought Ahmed ran the ball really hard, really fast. I know me and Jay, we talked about that a lot. But Jay brought up, and I kind of agreed with him, is that Sonny was the back that kind of changes up the pace within our backfield. Because, I mean, Raheem, Chase, Myles Gaskin, Ahmed, like those are all speed guys. Myles isn't the fastest rabbit in the wilderness. That's not a saying. I just try to make one up on the go. But
works,
he's not like a power back. Like he's not a horse. He's not a camel that you ride through the desert. You know, he's not Cam Young. If you know what I mean. But it's just four straight speed backs, and honestly, I'm with it. I think speed kills. I have no problem with letting Sonny Michel go. And I'm glad that he's already on the plane out to the LA Chargers. Good for him. No bad blood over there. He deserves to be on the roster.
Yeah,
just not this roster.
Hey, and that goes to my point. We're going for scheme fits, guys. Mike Gesicki's not that. It's pretty clear that we're not even keeping a power back, which is usually like a staple of all teams, right? Like that's usually a staple of all teams. That even if you're fitting a scheme, even if you're trying your best to fit a scheme, you still have that one guy who can do the other thing because you want to be able to adapt to the situation. Clearly, we're not. Like, clearly, that's not happening. So that's like another bite in the head. So just a heads up with Mike Gesicki. Yeah, but we have Godspeed, and I'm very excited. Man, dude, I put out a tweet of a Lightning McQueen car saying I am speed because we signed the fastest player in the draft to our practice squad. We are all about speed, and I love it. Mike McDaniel's always he's so like he's talking about how we want to take up space, make the defenders cover the most amount of space possible, and I cannot wait to see that in action. Man, I was so sick of watching Jalen Waddle run curl routes. Why do you have Jalen Waddle out there using him like Jarvis Landry? It's stupid. Make them guard him in space.
My dog Jarvis.
Make them guard him in space. Use the field. And I'm so excited that we're seeing motions and stuff like that. I remember in week 3 or 4 last year, I saw Albert Wilson finally motion across the field, and I was like, here we go. We finally got a fucking motion. Christ, man. Last year's offense was a drag to watch. Oh, my God. And that might be the most exciting thing about this year. I don't have to be like, I'm excited to watch Tua. Like, I was obviously excited to watch Tua, but I was like, damn, this offense is ass. We can't run the ball. We have no offensive line. It's an RPO offense. It was trash. Let's be honest. It was trash.
Offense was so bad. Yeah, the
so
offense
I'm very, very excited that we actually have an offensive coach that will be able to see what we can really do with these players and not use Jalen Waddle on curl and hook routes like an idiot. Sorry, that was stupid.
Hook and ladder, baby. No, it's okay. There's a lot of frustration last year. You're entitled to 1-7, worst offense I've ever seen. Honestly, contemplated jumping off the roof. I didn't want to buy season tickets, and then we got Tyreek Hill, so I bought season tickets. So they got me. I got got. Bobby, I can't see how long we've been going on for it. What mark are we at?
51 minutes.
Yes, sir. 51.
So we got 9 minutes. We got 9 more minutes. Whoa, we got a Bills fan in here. Get out of here, you bum. Go to Wegmans and fucking choke.
Yo, don't dog Wegmans like that, though, my boy. Don't be doing that.
No. Hey, thanks for being here, but honestly, I hate you and your football team. There's nothing I despise more, but we do appreciate the view. We do appreciate you being in here, but Josh Allen, I could care less for that guy, to be honest with you. I don't care. Is there anyone that surprised you not making the team? A lot of people were freaking out about Lynn Bowden not making the team. I wasn't surprised that he wasn't making the team. Everyone's like, oh, my God, he's so elusive. He's a playmaker. But the fucking Raiders shifted him. Every roster that he's joined has dusted him. Is he really that elusive that no one's picked him up already? Because I'm sure by now, if he was that guy, if he was Deebo Samuel, if he was Miami's Deebo, he would have got fucking scooped. They didn't even want to keep him on as a kick returner. Come on.
Yeah, man. I think that everyone just kind of sees the upside with Bowden because, I mean, there is some upside there. I think that's what everyone's been.
What is the upside? I need to understand this.
Hey, there was a 4-game stretch there in Tua's rookie season where I thought Lynn Bowden had some skills in the short game where you can get him the ball, just get the ball in his hands. He's also versatile. He was a former quarterback, running back, all this type of stuff. That's where I thought Mike McDaniel would have a lot of fun using him in those wildcat formations, him coming across formations, all that type of stuff, just because he can do so many different things.
Comes out with a fucking wildcat package.
No. I'm just naming formations and wild formations.
His job.
I'm just saying, on fake tosses, reverse tosses, fake sweeps, all that type of stuff, I thought Lynn Bowden would be a perfect candidate for that. And we have seen him when he has the ball in his hands. He is a shifty, elusive guy. Obviously, no team, I guess, really has seen that. And I will say he did miss all of 1 year, right? Because he was on IR before the season, which probably heavily impacted that as well. So I think people forget about that because we haven't seen him play in a year since that to his rookie in 2020.
People are upset about
people. You're right. People were overdoing it. People were overdoing it.
Wide receiver spot, bro.
Yeah. People were treating it like we released Tyreek Hill. I'll say that. That was a little crazy.
I mean, come on.
I do have a couple questions.
My dog Malcolm Perry, though.
Yeah, pour one out for Malcolm Perry, bro. Hey, shout out to him though. Represents y'all country. You know what I'm saying? He went to Navy, right? That's where he went. So shout out to him, man.
Wait, I thought he got cut or he just had to go serve the country.
No, he got cut, and then I think he just went back. I think a little bit of both. I don't want to say some wrong information, but I do have a couple questions for you guys because we signed Rome McKinley back to the practice squad. That's great. We did lose 2 guys who are kind of notable. Benito Jones, he went to Detroit. That was a little bit interesting to me. Obviously, he was on the practice squad for so long, he just could never make it up. So I actually thought it was good for the player and the team. We just never had a spot for him, and he finally gets a chance to go beyond the team. Now, here's the bigger one, which I thought was super interesting. Kellen Diesch is now a member of the Chicago Bears, but not on their active roster, which I thought was so interesting.
So he's chilling on their practice squad.
He's on their practice squad, which was really interesting to me because we gave him the most guaranteed money to come out here. and be a UDFA for us. And we cut him. And then you would think, okay, he's going to come back to the Dolphins practice squad if he doesn't get picked up to another team's active roster. But he didn't get picked up to another team's active roster. He's on another team's practice squad. So I'm very curious as to what happened there. He made the choice to not come back to Miami unless we didn't make an offer to go.
To be frank, I don't know where he's from. I think we should start there. He could be from the area, and he might be more comfortable being home. I do know he was a tackle. I know he's an absolute monster. And I think
Dallas, Texas.
Okay, so I don't know what his deal is with Chicago. Maybe he went to school there or something.
Went to college at A&M.
But maybe he thinks his best way to make a 53 roster is through a shitty team like Chicago, a team that has no offensive line. I mean, I know ours isn't great, but he's not going to start over AJ. And AJ's pretty dog water unless he proves me different this year. And he will never start over Terrar Armstead. So for a guy that, wants to make a 53, he already got his signing bonus. I don't know why not. Maybe he thinks he gets called up faster in Chicago, a team that's going through a rebuild. And who knows? They might want to tank, put the worst offensive line out there possible. And draft number one.
I just thought it was interesting that he signed here as a UDFA. He made the decision to sign here, first of all. And again, maybe it could have been very well for that guaranteed money that we offered him. But it's just interesting that he wasn't signed to another team's active roster, and he made the decision to not come back to Miami. Obviously, assuming that we offered him a practice squad spot.
We gave him the $325K. Like, he has it. Like, Miami Dolphins paid him $325K.
Yeah, I think he has 180 of that guaranteed.
Nah. There's no state income tax in Florida. There's no state income tax.
No, it's not about the tax. It's about the guaranteed money.
He's saying, the guaranteed money.
Oh, okay.
I bet it was some guaranteed when he signed, and the rest when he made the roster would be my guess. But just
something
thinking
like that. We don't
just thinking of like why maybe it's like the O-line coach over there used to be like his college coach. It's got to be something like that,
for sure.
Where he's got a relationship or he's more comfortable or something with the situation. Because I agree with you, Jay. It doesn't make much sense for him to go sign on their practice squad when he could have just signed with ours. That we wanted him. We need offensive line help, but.
And by the way, the only reason I say that, by the way, the only reason I say that is just because I actually really like Kellen Deesh. I liked him in college, and I thought he had a future on this team. That's the only reason I bring it up, because I actually thought he was going to be like a 4th-round draft.
I like him too. We were
talking UDFA. So I'm just surprised that we just kind of let him go like that. So that was just a thing to bring up.
And we only have 8 offensive linemen.
Exactly. And Mike McDaniel said in his press conference that that's not enough. So there should be a move coming there, hopefully soon. So that was really interesting to me. Obviously, Greg Little is your swing tackle right now. Solomon Kinley got cut, which a little bit. I guess that's a little bit notable.
Wow, that was wild. That was the wild one to me. Because at first, remember Cam started, it was Kinley sucks, he's fat, he's overweight, he's not good.
Doesn't fit the scheme.
And then after like the first preseason game, it was like, Kinley might start. Kinley's having a really good camp. So when we cut him, especially when we still only have 8 offensive linemen, I was shook. Now, before people were like, well, that's what you get for keeping Skylar. Well, you don't have to have fucking 5 tight ends either.
Yeah.
I mean,
let's
just go down the whole 53.
That's another push for scheme fit. That's another one where he performed well in camp, but he is in no way a scheme fit. He's clearly a power gap offensive lineman, and we are running a wide zone scheme. So it's just another point for the scheme for the scheme fit type of guys, which again, that just goes back to my point about Mike Gesicki. It's like scheme fit matters a lot to Mike McDaniel clearly. So just take that for what it's worth.
I have a question for you guys. So obviously there's more cuts coming. There's stuff in the works. You're not expecting to go out and sign someone who's going to come in and be an all-pro or even maybe not even a starter. You're looking to sign depth, fill the roster out. Any position. What would it be right now, number one?
Corner. Easy.
Corner.
Easy.
It has to be, right? It has to
be. We can rank them. I think it's corner.
Okay.
Then I would say offensive line, whether it's interior or on the outside. I prefer tackle at this point just because they're clearly rolling with Connor Williams at center. So there's no point of even being like, let's bring in a center to push him back to guard. Right. It's clear. So at this point, I take any offensive lineman. Obviously, corner first just because Byron's on the PUP. Honestly, and this goes kind of against what we were saying, I think our depth at middle linebacker is actually decent. It's kind of like the starter. Landon Roberts is the kind of guy I'm looking at there, which I wish we had a little bit better of a player there. Which obviously he's not technically a starter because we have a nickel-based defense, but like when we run the 3-4 defense, he's obviously the guy in that role. So that's something to keep an eye on. But obviously that's not a guy who we're going to get this far into camp, but that's kind of how I would rank it, unless I'm missing a position. Dude,
real
quick
on that.
Jesse Davis to Pittsburgh is hilarious.
Yo,
bro.
it's so
Ryan
funny.
Flores couldn't help himself.
So
Ryan
I have a
Flores
buddy.
could not help himself.
Yeah, I have a buddy
Oh
who's a
my
Steelers
God.
fan, and it happened. It all went down. It's like my best friend. He texted me right away. He's like, "What do you think of Jesse Davis?" It was a double tap, ha ha, and then a laughing face emoji. Nothing further. And then he just said, "Serviceable?" question mark. I said, "I guess that's a word. I don't know if I'd use it for him, but that's a word." That's the best though.
Fuck Jesse Davis.
When you sign someone or
my
someone signs
God.
with your team, like hitting your boy up and just being like, "Yo, tell me everything I need to know about this guy right now because I'm fucking pumped." It's the funniness of fandom, man. That's how it goes.
It really is. Hey, if you guys haven't hit that like button or that subscribe button, you need to. You need to. We're
Hit it,
trying to
baby.
hit 800. We're close. I love all you guys. We're so close to 800. Help us reach our goal. And then we're going to go from 800 to 900 to 1,000 to 2,000 to 3,000 to 4,000, all the way up to 1.5 million. And then we're going to get bought out by DraftKings.
Yep.
That's what's going to happen.
Sounds
Going to
good.
happen. Where are we at on time, Bobby?
We're at an hour flat, baby.
We're at an hour flat. Let's end it right there. It's been a great session with the three studs, not stooges, studs. We'll be back Friday. Will I have internet? The world may never know. If I have to do it on the phone, I will do it. And then next week, we got Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 5 to 6. We're going to get you guys ready. And then it's off to the races. We got the Patriots week 1, and I cannot wait to open up a can of whoop ass on Mac Jones and those bums, baby. I'm your host, Nikki Smokes, with Bobby and Jay. And thank you guys for listening to The Smoke Show. We will see you guys right here Friday, 5 p.m. Come on, guys. Fins up.
Fins up, baby.
Fins up, baby.
Toss it.
Toss her up.
Dream, don't I?